Test. Test. All right, welcome everybody to tonight's live stream here at Lanes Raceway, running 1RC LLC cars here. We got 4 classes tonight for your viewing pleasure: dirt late model, modified open wheel, sprint car, and super late model. Pretty much the same as last week. All rules and things to run our classes are online on www.lanesraceway.com. All right, guys, 10 minutes for dirt late model beginner qualifying. First off, let me shut practice down. They've already practiced, so we're going to head right on into racing. All right, and so it looks like Jamie Fulcher's up first. Jamie, you still got 3 laps. I know. I swapped it thinking it was. Hang on a second, guys. Let me false start that. All right, guys, listen. Everybody listen. Dirt late model beginner up for qualify. Whoops. 10 minutes. So the racers have 10 minutes to run this. James Deckard already up in here. He's ready to root for Jason Howard, I'm sure. Says, hey, guys. And the test is good. Thank you, James. John, good evening, everyone. Good evening, John. How you doing? Looks like you're back again. All right, Brandon, that'll be a 3.162. Chris Henderson, Gabriel Kirtley, Jason Howard, Garrett Burden, Jeff McMahon, Jamie Fulcher, and Blake Pannell, all in the beginner dirt late model class. Did you spin around the start-finish line? Huh. All right, Chris, 3.940. Well, that's technology for you. James Decker says, I want to see that white car in first tonight. No pressure. Gabriel says, not going to happen, James. Jason, what do you say about that? He said, I can total his car. I got 2. All right, Blake, a 4.440. Up next is going to be Garrett Burden out there to run some laps. Garrett Burden already with a 4.10. As you guys can tell, we've moved our start-finish line. It seems like a lot of people had trouble coming out of turn 4, getting their car straight, so we moved it right into turn 1 there. Gale Force Raceway, here we go. Here we go, Gale Force. 4.1, Garrett. Jason Howard now got his white mobile, the 25. This is James' driver. See how well he puts a time up. He wants to protest Brandon Lee's first time there. As a 3.1 is a little bit fast, we probably had a little bit of a glitch there in the transponder reading. All right, Jason, that's a 4 even. Gabriel Kirk. Garrett says he wants to protest. Gabriel Kirtley's up next. He hadn't been here in about a week or so see how good he does coming back in the mix with these guys. We got her fixed from last week, so there won't be no big, huge 6 or 7 car races where it's full-blown debacle. We should have plenty of track marshals tonight. All right, Gabriel, that'll be a 3.880. So that's our second best time of the Dirt Late Model Beginner class so far. All the guys, if you can see up in your upper right-hand portion of the screen, are all putting their cars out. So this is checking purposes, so all the guys can look at each other's cars to make sure nobody's doing anything outside of the rules of 1RC. And just this past week, we had found out that the midget had actually a different pinion in a motor. So we had to add that to the rules. Because we didn't know, which I find 1RC, that's kind of crazy that they would have one class that had a different pinion on the motor and not even mark it on the motor. It's kind of strange. But nonetheless, the guys were able to take advantage of it for a couple weeks. Now that's out of the gate. And then also, the cars can't weigh no more than 305 grams because the whole purpose of the box stock class is to keep it as equal as possible. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, just put her out there upside down so everybody can see it, Jeff. Oh, and Jeff, you're up. You can qualify. And we need to try to contact, I think we're going to do that this week because we couldn't find anywhere in the software where we could get the breakout times set correctly. So the breakout times on here are just no decimal point, no nothing. So we're hoping that maybe we can contact Live Time and maybe get those times changed. But it might end up being that we have to get another sector set up on this track so that it keeps people legit. But right now, the money's not there to be able to do that, as it's quite expensive to set up another sector. But if we can get it changed in the software where we could use decimal points, that'll help tremendously. And I'm hoping that we can get that done. Gale Force Raceway says formal protest denied, informal protest denied. Jeff's got him a sponsor, it looks like, on the front of his car this week. Looking good. Looks like a little more yellow jacket rolling out through there. All right, Jeff, that's a 5.050. We got Jamie Fulcher left. When you guys get done running, just make sure you put your cars up on the table so everybody can see them. And guys, if y'all spot anything y'all think's out of the way and not legal, let me know and I'll take a look at it. Jamie Fulcher got his car hooking up pretty decently this week. 4.059 so far. All right, Jamie, a 4.059. All right, looks like Brandon Lee is going to have the fast time this week. And just a reminder, guys, we are on live time. So if you take a look up here, which my camera seems to be out. Give me 1 second here. It says device not available. So y'all won't be able to see that this week. But nonetheless, right here behind me where I'm at, you can see me waving in the left screen there. It says go check out live time for these guys' fastest times. You just look under Lane's Raceway. All right, guys, we're going to finish that one up. Up next, qualifying 10 minutes for Dirt Modified. Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon, Blake Pennell, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall, Gabriel Kirtley. And John says, are they allowed to rim ride the top? John, they are, but nobody does it. Like I mean, yeah, they could rim ride it. Now it's not going to be too good in this class. The Dirt Modified will get them killed, as the tires like to grip in on the walls, so it'd send them straight down to the bottom. Anytime these open wheel modifieds even touch the wall, they fly. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead, Tim. But yeah, I'd love to see somebody at least give it a shot in like the late model class or something that has a shielded around the tires. But yeah, it'd be pretty tough for the open wheels to get that done. And Tim Hall out right now, 3.810. Kind of like slotless racing. Yes, it is, John. Kind of like slotless racing. Uh, I mean, these guys do spend a lot of time coming down here in practice time, working on setting up the weight transfer into their springs and stuff to get it to handle the best they can on the track. Some guys opt to set their cars up for the beginning portion of the race and then try to modify and tweak it towards whenever the track gets a little bit dry slick. But it seems like a lot of the guys just try to figure out how to drive them dry slick and set it up for that, because this track will get dry slick by the end of the night. Right now it's gripping pretty good. You can see the cars coming out of turn 4 there, just holding the back end around. But towards the end of the night, you're going to start seeing that back end slide out just as soon as they roll the track a little bit. It's a lot of maintenance to keep the track gripping at the beginning. You have to take alcohol, put it on a rag, and wipe the track down, and that kind of rolls over the paint, makes it sticky for a little bit. But then once it gets rolled over, it kind of collects dust off the tires and everything else, and then it gets really dry slick. Surf Ranger says, Lanes Raceway, hello from the pits of Paris Raceway, 10 minutes, next race. All right, Surf Ranger, you racing tonight too? Right now, Garrett Bird in 4.220, but Tim Hall out there with the fastest lap time so far, 3.710. These guys were battling it out last week, and Garrett, he's been a force to be reckoned with in the open wheel modified. Blake Pano and Garrett looks like they're a little head-to-head, maybe been exchanging ideas, both of them 4.220. Jamie Fulcher's up next here. Jamie Fulcher's there. Got a little bit of trim moving his car to the outside there. It's a different strategy to say the least here. I got him some different type of tires. So in the rules on any of the box stock classes, you can run either softs or hard rubbers. All our information is on lanesraceway.com. And it looks like he's got fronts that are soft and the rears look to be the hard set. Now, I believe it is the late model that comes with 2 sets of tires, but it could be the open wheel. I can't remember. All right, Jamie, that's a 4.640. Jackson Darty, good job, everyone. Jackson, you need to bring your ride down here and get in the mix with these guys. Jeff McMahon's up next with his dirt modified. Jeff McMahon checking some trim on his car before he goes around. No, it's midget. It's strictly to midget. But I know, but you have to have the rear assembly from the midget. Well, we don't want to get into that. I mean, I know, I am too. We want to keep these box stock classes box stock, other than the tires, and the only reason that is so that people can, grip and change their tires and stuff. But I mean, the open classes do it. I mean, it doesn't bother me one bit on the open classes. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Well, you understand where I'm coming from, you know. I mean, because like we got some kids here. Ain't no like for instance Jackson. He's not gonna be able to fix anything like that. All right, Jeff. That's a 5.050. And Gabriel Kirtley, the last one to qualify for the dirt modified. Jackson Darty says, I tested negative for everything. Well, that's good, Jackson. I'm glad. We got a lot of people been sick. I know pretty much every person that's working over at Subway next door is sick. Uh, T, my wife, works behind the register. She's not been feeling good. So hopefully I don't get it. But that's life. Gabriel Cartley's going to get his car put out there. Still got 4 minutes left for him to run 5 laps, and then we'll be moving right into the next class here. Surf Ranger says, yes, sir. Well, Surf Ranger, are you in that race? Are you taking them out? All right, Gabriel, 4.190. Going to finish that and head on into the next qualifying session. Up next, Super Dirt Late Model qualifying session. Jason Howard, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall, Gabriel Kirtley, Blake Panel. Super Dirt Late Model. Now, this is the super class. This is the one like where you can modify as long as it's 1RC parts and everything. Hey, to your heart's content, as long as it's got 1RC on it, this is the class you want to do that in. Our box class, or box stock class, has to remain the way it is out of the box, other than the tires. And all these rules are on our website, www.lanesraceway.com. I know we've had several people today calling in wanting to know the rules and everything about our 1RC here at Lanes Raceway. I even heard that a new track's getting formed up in a place pretty close by from here. John says, don't sneeze on your subway. I will not sneeze on the subway. All right, so Blake Panel out first. Sorry, Blake, I just now started it. That's on me, man. So Blake Panel going to turn his first lap there. For some reason or other, this one's only set on 9 minutes, but we ain't going to need 10 minutes to run all of these guys. As long as there's enough. We're trying to streamline this to where that we can get through with this and maybe even start up another one, and then the guys get to race for $5, and then we're going to do some track buck racing. So that's my hope anyway. John, does any of these guys put stagger in their rear ends? Yes, they do. And even in the stock class, they're able to mess with the rear ends, and as long as you use a stock rear end and all that, you can still put some washers, but there's not a whole lot of room for it to stagger it a little bit. Like you could stagger it maybe a 1/4 of an inch, possibly, but it's more like 1/8 of an inch. But that's it. That's about all the stagger they can put in it. All right, right now Garrett Burden at 3.220. So I mean, in the box stock class for sure, you know these guys are trying to get everything they can out of a stock car. But really, you know, if they're doing that, it's a good way to start. But they want to get them a new late model, kind of like how Blake has done, and get all the advanced parts from 1RC, and then tinker and mess around and stuff like that with that. But the box stock, we're just trying to keep it, you know, basically where kids can get involved and everything else, and we're pretty strict about the box stock class. And it seems like every week I'm learning something new about 1RC. So things have to change here early on, but it's all for the betterment. You know, 2 weeks ago we didn't have the guys leave their cars out here for people to tech, but I missed stuff, and they're like, "Hey man, you missed this last week on so and so," and I'm like, "Well, let's solve it." So we solve problems here until we come up with a good way of doing things, and I think right now we got it pretty good. Go ahead, anytime you want. So you, Tim, and Gabriel are left. But yeah, I mean, we're always trying to work together to make it the best that we can possibly do. And like I said, we're just getting started with all of this. We probably raced for a couple months so far right now, doing some 1RC. But each week we try to improve and make it a little bit more streamlined to get these guys a little bit more racing under their belt and stuff like that. And these guys are getting tremendously better behind the wheel, as you guys can tell. John says the left rear tire is smaller. It works on my slot car oval track racing. Hey, that's something to think about there, John. We got a pretty big slot car race coming up in April, and the guys have been testing and tuning, trying to get the best that they possibly can out of their slot cars for the Flexi Challenge Series. Coming up after this week, we start our preliminary pre-Flexi Challenge class that we're going to call our Winter Series here at Lanes Raceway. And it's basically all the rules are on Flexi Challenge Series. So you just go to Flexi Challenge Series. Ain't no cheating in that class as long as you got 1RC parts. The only class you can really cheat hard in is the box stock class. All right, so John says left rear tire small. Yeah, I just read that. But that's a good idea. That'll help you turn for sure. Gabriel Kirtley, the last one here. Tim Hall with a 2.870 blistering in the super late model class. 2.7 or 2.870 now. Helps. Well, that right there, I think, is the fastest time ever turned in the super late model class. It is legal. Oh, he's got two cars, don't he? Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, uh, I don't know if I can get you in. I'm gonna try. I think I might be able to. Gabe, you're the last guy up. So Gabriel Kirtley is the last guy for the super late model qualifying, and then we'll be going into the heat race. Heat race is a little bit different this week from last week, if you haven't heard. So last week when we ran the heat race, it was two individual heat races at 20 laps each. Now we're just going to run one heat race at 40 laps. The B main, C mains, and all the other mains will be 45, other than the A main, which will be 50 laps. And this basically makes it for some of the guys that have a little bit tougher time getting around. Uh, we can get through things a little bit quicker, and they're not having to get up and move as much. And plus, one battery should do it. Gale Force Raceway says, "Where's Paris Raceway? Please don't say Paris. I won't be able to handle it. LOL." So Gabriel Kirtley's got his super late model out. It's a little darty here at the very beginning. Like I said, he's been off for a couple weeks, out of practice a little bit, but that car is humming. Already turning a 2.980. That thing is screaming. All right, Gabe, a 2.970. 40 laps. So do they get 6 strikes? Well, the strike system's actually, funny you say that, Gale Force. It's going away in our slot car race in our next series. They're going to be live tracking it. Uh, but in our RC, the only time I call a red flag or stop the track is when a car flies off in the middle, because the guys are going to live track these cars, and when they're not racing, they got to track marshal for the other racers. All right, guys, our fourth qualifier, dirt sprint car: Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall, Jason Howard, Blake Panel. So now they got 10 minutes to qualify their sprint cars here, and this is our final class here this evening, and we're going to try to get Tim Hall in using one of Jason Howard's cars here when we start the heat race coming up next. We'll just go ahead and add him into the heat race, and we'll get him in there. So basically, he just missed qualifying for that, but not a big deal. Gale Forest Raceway says, "Love these on the fly rules to keep it real and modern." Gale Force, like I said, man, we're just trying to find a way. Because one thing I've noticed just doing this in slot car racing is, if you don't have it to where people, it, if people can cheat it up and run the whole thing, then everybody stops racing because they just can't compete. But if you can keep it where people can compete, and you can like keep it to where uh, people have a good time, it always works out. But it takes a little bit of testing and tuning and talking to the guys, and everybody gives me their input. And Blake, he's been a pretty big help, and Jason Howard and Gabriel and Tim, all these guys have been big help talking to me about everything, and we just come up with it. Yeah, just leave it upside down for everybody to see. It's Jason said, James, if you get, he's on here. He said he needs a motor sponsor, James. So now we see Garrett Burden getting up here. Blake Penawar returns his time 3.60, currently in the lead here by 0.03 of a second. As we see Garrett flip his car out into the center, he's going to need a hook of life there, right on the Lanes Raceway sign. Now that is from our old Lanes Raceway. We were in a smaller building. We've now moved to this bigger building and everything. Richard Austin, evening. Evening, Richard Austin. All right, Garrett, a 4.390. You can be. Yeah, Gabriel, Tim, and Jason. What's that? I don't have a weight for those, but we can try to get one tonight. I mean, online, man, it's very very vague. So it's really underweight. That's the issue. And every one of them that I've seen that's been put together with a battery in it has been overweight. So we got to come up with our own weight. Really, we need to basically find one that's wrapped, weigh it, find one that's not wrapped, and then come to a conclusion on weights. Uh, but I don't think there's been a big issue with the open wheel, has there? Okay. Yeah. I mean, dude, I go by what you guys tell me. I'm trying to make it what you guys want. We work together, we'll come up with something that'll work. Tim Hall out there now with his yellow and orange sprint car. These cars really do perform well once you get them under speed, and the wing can actually get a little bit of downforce. But you got to hit your spots, and it's tough. This is probably the toughest of the classes, really. All right, Tim, a 3.760. It may not be, but there's always going to be some variance there. What we're going to try to plan on doing in the future, once we get enough money, is we're going to put a sector up over there on the other corner, and then it will never count your lap here unless you go through that other sector. It probably did. We had another one like that earlier tonight too. It's not a big deal. All right, Gabriel Kirtley and Jason Howard up next. Jason Howard coming out with his white 25. He loves the white 25. He's trying to get some more stickers this week. Yeah, that's it. It's half your color scheme, Tim. Jason Howard getting his car stuck around there. He was playing with it earlier with the lipo. I think now the extra slowness of the battery has kind of got his turns off a little bit here, but he'll get her underway here as we see the blue flash there from his transponder. James Brandt says, I have not slot car raced in 40 years. I'd love to get back into it. James Brandt, I hope you're in the Kentucky area because we'll get you set up. Come on down here to Lanes Raceway. We got plenty of slot car racing at fast paces. Jason Howard, 4.150. And we do specialize in that. We are trying to make it to where these guys can run in these faster classes and prepare them for some bigger type races too. Gabriel's left. You miss qualifying because that's already over. But whenever the heat race starts, I'll add you in. What's the number on that? Well, actually, yeah, it'll pop up and I'll add it to your name. Is that 0801? Okay, I got it. Colorado. Yeah, it's a little far away there, James, but hopefully you can find one in Colorado. 0801. Let me fix this real quick. Where is Tim? There he is. Jason. All right, there we go. That should fix it. Gabe, are you not going to qualify? If you want, you can. So Gabriel currently on the phone. Jason Howard's going to race for him. James Brent said there's one about 50 miles away. Hey, that ain't bad. 50 miles for a slot car track is not bad at all, really. If you can ever get to a slot car track within an hour, that's actually really good. We got some guys that travel 2 hours to get here to race slot cars. Funny thing is, James, uh, out of everybody that comes here and races, we got one guy from my hometown that races here, and that's my dad. Everybody else is from a different town. It's kind of funny. All right, a 5.60. And that's going to finish our qualifying. So now we're going to jump into heat races. Why is this qualifying? It should not be qualifying. What's that? You can go. You can hop on there right now. I'm still trying to create a round. Oh, that's why I put it as qualifying instead of heat. Sorry about that. Whoa. All right. I do not know why this is doing that. It should be heat races. It shouldn't be race length 10 minutes. All right. There's heat. Oh, that's why, because I didn't generate it. Sorry, folks. I'm confusing myself here. Now we're right. All right. So Gale Force Raceway. Oh, big tracks. We run HO at my track in Jersey. Yeah, I love HO. Uh, I've seen some of the guys run some of the American tracks that are HO tracks, and man, they're beautiful. We'd love to have one here. We wanted to make a 164 scale Blue King track here. All right, guys. First heat race, dirt late model beginner. Blake Pennell, Jeff McMahon, Tim Hall. Yeah, you'll be in third. Hmm? Is that what that means? Man, you hate to hear it. Gale Force Raceway, yeah, me too. Hence why I'm back. LOL. I'm back. So right now we got Tim Hall lined up here and Blake Pennell there in front. Then we're waiting on Jeff McMahon. Jeff, you're up, man. Guys, if y'all don't mind, please help track marshal if you're not racing. Huh? Yeah, that keeps a lot of swirling. Yep. Yeah, they swirled so much it put a swirl marks in the center. So Gale Force says, pardon my forgetfulness here, but host, I forgot your name. Uh, my name is Donovan. A lot of people just call me Donnie, though. Just don't call me late for dinner. Lori Hall says, go Tim. He's throwing a thumbs up there. So, Lori, he's in the orange car. He had to borrow a car tonight. Here comes Jeff and his slate-colored mobile. All right, guys, this heat's a little different than last week. We're 40 laps, double the amount of laps. One heat to settle it all. You guys ready? Listen for the tone. And we're off racing. And out to an early lead, Blake Panel. Right behind him, Tim Hall in the orange car. And behind him, Jeff McMahon. Let's see Blake getting slammed up there in the second corner there. Lori Hall with a thumbs up. So now she knows Tim there in second position here. Oh, so he gets spun there a little bit. Tim Hall giving some pro tips a little bit earlier that if you take these things off and you clean them, uh, they do run a lot better. And I would highly suggest that too. It's kind of like our rookie class on slot cars. When you get a GRC, for instance, it's not a good idea just to throw the thing out on the track. Best thing you can do is start learning to tinker on them right then, pull the thing apart, make sure your gear ratio's good, clean, and everything else. Gale Force says, hello, Donovan. Hello, Donnie. Hello, Gale Force Raceway. So far, these guys are running a clean race. As Tim Hall makes a dive down low, makes a pass. So we see a car flipped here. Gabriel Kirtley's going to reach out there and try not to get hurt. Blake Panel and Tim Hall literally about a half a track difference from one another. As we are about halfway through right now, Tim Hall is poised, just waiting for Blake to have a mess up here as he comes. Blake now on the backside of Jeff McMahon. Now Jeff making a little bit of a push there. Now we see Tim trying to pass Jeff here. He makes a nice clean pass there. Still about a half of a lap difference between Tim Hall and Blake Panel. Very close racing here. This is the kind of race we love to see here. Very tight, close racing here. Just waiting for one guy to make a mistake or not make his corner correctly. Tim actually gaining a little bit of time there in the orange car there. As he's now about a third of a track length to Blake Panel, but Blake Panel's still hanging on there, just giving it his best. We see Jeff dive bomb low, almost got into Tim, but Tim was able to escape. 8 laps left to go. As we get 2 involved in a contact, Tim's going to take the lead. And like I said, folks, it all boiled down to one wreck here. Tim's going to take the lead now. He's hanging on to it. 5 laps left to go there in the orange car. Oh, he narrowly misses a wreck there from Jeff McMahon. 2 laps to go. A very eventful 40 laps here. Tim Hall, Blake Panel, Jeff McMahon. So that one wreck's what caused Blake to lose it. But that's racing, folks. That's what it is sometimes. right, so we're going to head to the next heat. All right, heat 2 of 3 of the Dirt Late Model Beginner. Jason Howard, Jamie Fulcher, Garrett Burden. All these guys coming up here checking each other's cars out before they go out there and kind of keep each other honest. If there's any questions about it or anything, I usually hear about it after the race is over with. Donnie, you need to check this, you need to check that next week and all this, and then I end up checking it. But like I said, folks, it's just one of them things, you know. As we see Jamie Fulcher getting his car out there, we also see Garrett Burden getting his out. We're waiting on Jason Howard in the white 25. Looks like he's cleaning his tires before he goes out there. Yeah, that one wreck is what cost you. That's where the skill comes involved. You got to know how to take those cars and shave that extra bit of time, you know, or be consistent like Tim was and not get in wrecks. All right, guys, we got enough track marshals. Looks good. 40 laps, guys. Listen for the tone. Here we go. Like I said, red flag only getting called if a car flips off into the center. So that was Jamie Fulcher with the transponder error there, but we went ahead and got him setted. Right now, Jason Howard out into a lead right here, followed by Garrett Burden there. Literally a backstretch difference between the two racers here. And Jason Howard running some pretty consistent laps here, but don't count Garrett Burden out. He's very, very strong. Oh, as we see a wreck happen here, Jamie Fulcher getting hit by Jason. Jason's making it out pretty much unscathed there. Still about a backstretch difference between Jason and Garrett Burden, both of these guys on their 10th and 11th lap. Jamie Fulcher there to the high side, giving room to Jason. Jason there, nice smooth transition, making those transitions in a D shape. Now Garrett Burden coming up into contact with Jamie Fulcher. This lead of Jason's now about a half a lap difference as he cuts it within a backstretch now for putting a lap on Garrett Burden. So Garrett Burden there just involved in that one wreck there, costing pretty much 2 corners worth of distance between Jason. Jason now got him down to 1 corner is the distance between a laps. He makes a nice clean lap turn on 1 and 2. Garrett giving him a little bit of room as they come into a little contact in 3 or 4. Oh, both of these guys back and forth here as we see Garrett Burden fall in line behind Jason. Jason making a little bit of forward progressional movement here, but Garrett keeping it low, and that's probably the best opportunity if he can keep it off the wall. Scrubbing that time off the wall will kill you, but keeping the car lower is better than going high. As we see Jamie Fulcher's car getting flipped over there. Hard racing here to say the least. Now Jason Howard in the white 25 pulling another backstretch difference between him and Garrett. So the only thing we can see here, if Garrett can make the pass, is if we see an incident take place. Jamie Fulcher about got into 2 incidents there. Jamie Fulcher pulling out of the way there, letting Jason have that way. Jason being able to keep his car in tow there is keeping Garrett from making the pass. Now within a corner yet again for another lap to be added on to Garrett Burden, and that will make a 2-lap difference between the two. Garrett's just wishing that Jason would have a little bit of scrub luck in his car wreck, but Garrett's giving him room and running him tight. That's what you want to see, to not wreck them, but run them tight. Jason Howard, Garrett Burden, Jamie Fulcher. So Garrett's going to have to do a little bit of lubricating, possibly a little bit of work on his car to keep it from being so darty. But what a nice race between the two. Garrett definitely being friendly out there, giving room to Jason Howard. All right, heat 3 of 3 for the Dirt Late Model Beginner class. Brandon Lee, Gabriel Kirtley, Chris Henderson. Chris is dreading being in there with Gabriel Kirtley. Gabriel's saying he's lucky to be in there with him. If you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be coming into the main races here very shortly after these heat races happen. We're going to see some slotted in main races, and we're going to have some pretty big main races. I think we're going to go all the way back to a C main this week. Now, we do give away A main, B main stickers here. Let me see if I can plug this in, maybe get the screen rolling here. Guys, if you ain't racing, could you help Track Marshal, please? While we're waiting on Track Marshals, let me see if I got the camera rolling now. All right, we're back live. So 4 times, go to Live RC, look up Lanes Raceway. But tonight these guys are racing their first race for these bragging stickers. A main and B main winners will get these stickers. So we'll swap back over here. Jason Deckard said, congratulations, Jason. Jason said, thank you. Jason said, I asked you if he could at least get 50%. I don't know what he means by that, but maybe you do. All right, guys, listen for the tone. Like I said, red flags only getting called if they flip into the center. If you go back to when we first started at 1RC, there was a lot of track calls, a lot of confusion, a lot of laps being given, and a lot of laps being taken away because of how many calls there was. Now with the live track taking place, that hardly ever happens, and we're getting a lot closer racings here. James Deckard said, welcome, Jason. So we see Jamie Fulcher flipping a car here. That is going to be the car of Brandon Lee. Jason Howard going to get in there and get that car flipped. Brandon Lee's back on his lid, or back on his wheels yet again from being on his lid. Jason, probably the best track marshal we got here. He's quick on his feet for sure. He must have played football in high school. Gabriel Kirtley currently in the lead, 11 laps. Chris Henderson right there behind him. Chris Henderson, freshly wrapped car. He got it wrapped this week in the 512 green and black ride. Gabriel Kirtley getting involved there with Brandon Lee. Brandon taking the high side there, maybe doing a little scrape and roll. And the faster class could be a viable option in winning the race. Just have to wait and see. Gabriel Kirtley right at a full lap coming up on Chris Henderson right now. Chris Henderson passing the start-finish line, followed by Gabriel Kirtley. Got him within a corner now, similar to what we were seeing before with Tim Hall and Blake Pannell. Very close racing, though. It's going to boil down to wrecks taking place here. These guys fall in suit here. We find that 3 and 4 is the magic number for these racers. Heat races being 3. That way we can keep track of the racers, how fast they're going, and it's pretty good friendly racing usually when you get them in about a section like this. Still pretty good close racing. Gabriel Kirtley right there behind Chris Henderson, not able to make that pass as we see his battery draining a little bit faster than Chris's. 8 laps left to go. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Chris to make that jolt to catch Gabriel. Gabriel making a nice pass down low on 1 and 2, actually gaining a couple car lengths there as Chris went high. Chris now taking the low side in 3 and 4. Gabriel right there behind him. Gabriel hanging on to that 3 and 4 about midsection there, just keeping his distance, trying not to cause a wreck. It looks like with 4 laps left to go, Gabriel Kirtley is a full lap in the lead. Chris Henderson making a little bit of a break off there as they come into lap traffic there with Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee there in the red and yellow car, almost a McDonald's-esque looking car. Gabriel Kirtley, Chris Henderson, Brandon Lee. And that's the finish of that heat race as we are now out of the beginner dirt late model class and we're moving on into our next class here. Dirt modified heat 1 of 2, Blake Pannell, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon. So there'll be 2 heats here for the dirt modified 40 lappers. But once we get everything ironed out, and I think this is really a good bit of ironing out here. I think right now the way this is running smooth and nice. As soon as we get it all ironed out and all the guys are happy, I think it's time to start running a series here at Lanes Raceway 1RC style. And who knows what the series may entail. Right now I'm wearing a 1RC. Let me show you guys what the shirt looks like here. Beautiful shirt that we got from 1RC. Uh-oh. I dropped frames out. Something's going on here. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like the live stream or something's having an issue. Test, test. There we go. All right. I don't know. Something glitched out. But here's the 1RC shirt here. And we'll show you the back real quick. You can kind of see the 1RC shirt there. We got it from 1RC. And I love how these shirts are made. I want to make my Lanes Raceway shirts like this. We'll have to wait and see in the future, but maybe we make some shirts by this shirt company for the racers in a series and all the guys that get in that. They'll have them a nice little shirt to wear for bragging rights, possibly for the first place. So right now, Blake Panel, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon, Jamie, and Blake all on there. All right, guys, if you're not racing, if we could get a track marshal. Okay, so we're waiting on one track marshal here on the inside. And that's Chris there. Mean Green or Garrett Burden, either one, whichever one of you beats him to it. As long as we got 4 track marshals, I think we're good. All right, guys, racers, listen for the tone. And we're off racing. All right, Jeff McMahon there got his car on the inside there. He had to change his ECU from last week as it was having trouble locking up here, and it looks like he's having some issues here yet again with that car. So looks like Jeff's still having some issues there with his 1RC car. Might need to be a full takedown possibly looked at here at Lanes Raceway. Of course, it being race day and all, that can't happen right now. But Blake Panel there out in the lead 9 laps. Jamie Fulcher there in second with 7. And Jeff McMahon retiring currently until he can figure out what's going on with that car. These cars do take a pretty severe beating a lot of the times, and it can cause issues. They're not the most robust when it comes to the receivers either. But like I said, you're getting a full package deal for just barely over $200. So uh, that's the whole point of this. Is they're not going to be super quality, but at the same they should be decent as long as you don't drop the controller or something. And maybe that could be an issue too. I don't know. It's one of those things that you just have to take everything apart or see if 1RC would take it to get it fixed. So we see 2 cars coming into contact with each other and hitting each other. Jeff right now, he's over there trying to figure out what's going on with his car. Now I know he had it working the other day. For some reason or another now, I don't know why it's not working. But anyways, hopefully he gets it figured out. We'll see. Blake Panel out in the lead, 24 laps to Jamie Fulcher's 20. Looks like Randy Kirtley's going to go over there and see about helping him out. So maybe Jeff can maybe get back in here before the heat's over with, but I doubt it. We'll have to wait and see. We'll probably see Jeff in the feature race though, but that's just a little bit to go. So something's going on here. They're looking at the cars to see if somebody's dragging. No, they're back racing now. Sometimes when they come off the corners, the nose will drag if they took a lot of damage. But who knows right now? Limited information for sure here on the mic as 34 laps have been passed by Blake Panel, 28 for Jamie Fulcher with 5 laps to go. One lap left to go. Blake Panel's going to bring it home. Blake Panel, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon. All right, dirt modified heat 2 of 2. Tim Hall, Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden. Tim Hall and Garrett Burden up here getting their batteries hooked in, ready to go. Garrett Burden, very strong in this class. Looks like Tim Hall's got his stuff worked on this week, and it's looking pretty good too. We'll see if Gabriel Kirtley can get back in the mix and maybe give them a run for their money. Being a couple weeks off, these guys have had practice under their belt. Jeff McMahon now got his car in the pits doing a little test turns. Seen his car go up there in the upper right-hand portion by the subway of Livermore, Kentucky sign. Right now we're waiting on Gabriel Kirtley to clean his tires, and we'll be underway for this 40-lap heat race. Now it looks like Blake Panel's trying to help Jeff out a little bit while they wait on Gabriel. All right, guys, if you don't mind, help track marshal. Need 2 track marshals. All right, here comes Jamie Fulcher and Blake to help track marshal. All right, racers, let's for the tone. So out in the lead right now is Garrett Burden, followed by Tim Hall. Gabriel Kirtley getting involved in an incident here as he's going to get flipped over by Blake Panel. Blake Panel, or not Blake Panel. Oh, Gabriel Kirtley taking out the leader, Garrett Burden. Now Tim Hall in the lead. Gabriel, coming around high side, almost gets involved with Tim. Tim there currently in the lead by 1 full lap. Gabriel Kirtley on the low side of Tim. Tim puts him into the wall there on the low side. As we see Jason, the quick track marshal, flipping over Garrett Burden. Gabriel Kirtley there now 1 lap different between him and Tim Hall. What a eventful little 3-car race we're having here between these guys. No love lost, to say the very least. Tim Hall out in the lead by a lap. Gabriel and Garrett on the same lap. As Garrett Burden goes high and he flips hard into turn 1. Gabriel Kirtley coming up on the backside of Tim Hall here to get it on the same lap as we get 2 involved in the incident. Garrett Burden into Gabriel. Gabriel into Garrett Burden. All 3 of these guys getting spun around here. Garrett spinning again. This is unlike Garrett. Garrett's usually very pronounced in the open wheel modified class here. Been a front runner for the past 2 weekends. Gabriel Kirtley 1 lap down from Tim Hall. Halfway, 18 laps to go. Tim Hall down below Garrett Burden. Garrett Burden and Tim almost getting into it. They're both very back and forth here, trying to stay out of each other's way. Garrett Burden getting pinned there on turn 4. That's like I said, guys, these tires get stuck on that wall in this open wheel modified. It locks them up or throws them down. Tim Hall taking the high side, trying to avoid it. Going low, what a pass for Tim Hall. Gabriel Kirtley there in second place, 29 laps, 1 lap still down from Tim Hall. Gabriel Kirtley slamming the wall coming out of turn 4. We're starting to see the track now become more dynamic as we're seeing the track get a little bit more dry slick as we progress through this race. Gabriel Kirtley and Tim Hall both getting involved in the incident here. Gabriel Kirtley now 2 laps down and locked up, cogged on the walls. We see Chris Henderson trying to help Gabriel. Gabriel's got something possibly broke in his car. Gabriel's going to go ahead and finish it out. 2 laps left to go. Tim Hall out in the lead. Now Tim Hall coming through the white flag right behind Garrett Burden, and he makes the pass. Tim Hall, Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden. What an eventful race there towards the end, possibly Gabriel Kirtley with some damage. All right, moving on in to the Super Dirt Late Model class, Heat 1 of 2, Garrett Burden, Blake Pinnell. I think you and Gabriel both were broke. So Garrett Burden broke in the rear there. He's got to get his rear shock fixed. And possibly Gabriel Kirtley also broke there towards the end. His car just kept spinning out. But what a race. Very, very tight. No love lost race there. Yeah, go ahead. Just get the money out of the register. Well, go over and see, come back, and get it. That'll work. So now Heat 1 of 2, Super Dirt Late Model, Garrett Burden and Blake Pinnell. I always call him Blake Pinnell because, you know, he's got that pinky out when he races. Looking good in his Simplot shirt. That's where him and Blake work. Or him and Garrett. That's your sponsor, Simplot? There you go. They don't know it, but they're going to. I love it. You need to get a late model built out looking like a Simplot car. You'd be in direct competition to Davenport, wouldn't you? What'd you break? Yeah. Yeah, you know where it's from. It's from the walls. Yeah. Because when people hit that wall, it's literally splintering it. Hey, this track's dynamic, baby. Set that baby up to be dry slick. The wall paint has now fell on the track. These guys are sliding all over the place. All right, we see Blake Pinnell getting his super late model set down, and Garrett Burden's going to get his set down, and this is poised to be a extremely fast race. These are the ones that we usually see flying off into the center of the track. We got track marshals here. All right, guys, listen for your tone. No. Garrett and Blake. All right, racers. Jason being a funny dude right now. Racers, listen for the tone. I need to make sure they could hear me because I didn't want to hit the tone and they not hear it. All right, out of the gate, Garrett Burden in the lead, taking the high side there, and Blake Pinnell right behind him. They're literally about 3 car lengths difference from each other. Blake Pinnell going the low side there, trying to hook it and hang. We see the high side there, right there, just neck and neck, side by side with each other. Taking the low side, a little bit of rubbing contact taking place here. I mean, he's holding it low, now back to about a 4 car length difference, but holding it low. Oh, hard hits there on the left side. This could have separated his shock there. Like something came off. We see track marshal Jason Howard reach down there and grab it. We don't know what it is yet, but Blake Pinnell definitely losing some car lengths here. He's now about a corner difference between Garrett Burden. Blake Pinnell now trying to just hang on and keep his car rolling. As he gets a flip here, we're going to see track marshal Jason Howard flip him over. He's now 1 lap down from Garrett Burden. Garrett Burden's still hanging on to it, though. Rolling pretty smooth. He's taking an option there on turn 1 and 2 to go low, and it looks like they're on turn 3 and 4 going for the high side approach to mid side. But definitely keeping that car off the wall is key. as we see a hard hit taking place there. But here comes Blake. He's trying to get one of those laps back, and he makes the pass, but a hard hit on the straight causes him to flip and roll around. His car is definitely faster than Garrett Burden's, but he's got to be able to control it. Speed doesn't mean anything unless you can keep it on the track. And right now, Blake Pennell having some issues after that one big incident early on in the race. As so much grip took place there, it about flipped the car. Blake Pennell now in front of Garrett Burden. All right, now they're both on the same lap. Garrett and Blake both. Blake Pennell now in the lead by half a car length. What a change of events here between these two racers. As we see some of the motor power dying down in these cars here, they're able to control them better. Blake Pennell wrecking yet again, giving a chance for Garrett Burden to catch him with 3 laps to go. All right, Blake Pennell, Garrett Burden. That's it. What a race. All right, Super Dirt Late Model Heat 2 of 2. Tim Hall, Gabriel Kirtley, Jason Howard. That ain't till next heat. After this heat, that's when that happens. Yeah, because it's after this is over, that's when that selection's available for us to put y'all in the right place. That way that all the fast drivers ain't in the B main. Yes, sir. Let me see if I can do that. I don't know. Dude, I being it's a heat race, are you good with it? Because I don't know if I exactly how to do that, and I don't really want to screw this up as late game as we are. I don't post the heat races anyway, so the only thing I post are the mains. Okay, 5. Yeah. Yeah. It don't take long in that class. So right now, Tim Hall and Gabriel Kirtley are seated on the track, and Jason and Blake are saying that Garrett Burden should take the win on that for where Jason was messing with Garrett holding his car, which you guys have seen that too. But like I told them, I said I don't think it's going to really matter much unless it's the teeter point for the A main, B main. But if they're both in the B class anyway, I don't think it's really going to matter. All right, do we got track marshals? All right, listen for the tone. And here we go, 40 laps into this. Tim Hall spinning right out of the gate there. Gabriel Kirtley pushing Tim Hall as we see Jamie Fulcher helping Tim out there. And we're going to see Gabriel Kirtley currently in the lead, followed by Jason Howard. Tim Hall having some issues there with his super late model. Gabriel Kirtley there in the lead. High side rolling. Oh, so we see Gabriel Kirtley involved in the incident. Now Jason Howard taking the lead. Brutal racing back and forth. Jason Howard in the white car currently in the lead. Nikki and Michael Hazlett. Quit being difficult, Jason Howard. Oh, Jason, he's always trying to have a good time at other people's expense, it looks like. Oh, a head-on collision between Tim Hall and Jason Howard. As we see Jason and Gabriel getting involved in an incident there, getting flipped. Gabriel Kirtley now in the lead by 2 laps. Jason Howard there in second position. Very tight racing between these three. Gabriel Kirtley just gets swapped and smoked by Tim Hall on the third corner there. Tim Hall and Jason both involved in an incident here. It's hard to keep track of all the incidents taking place here. Gabriel Kirtley taking a pass on Jason Howard. Jason barely giving him room to even make that pass. Gabriel Kirtley now in the lead, 27 laps. Jason Howard, 26. Still anybody's race here. Jason going to make the pass possibly. Gabriel Kirtley running off and leaving it. Gabriel's got quite a few more modifications in his super late model, adjustable everything pretty much. As we see Tim Hall wrecked yet again at the start-finish line here. Tim Hall's shock possibly busted off of his car. Now down to Gabriel and Jason Howard. 35 laps Gabriel, 35 Jason. Close racing, 4 laps left to go in this brutality between these three racers. Wow. 1 lap left to go. Gabriel Kirtley in the lead as he brings it home. Gabriel, Jason, Tim. Their fastest lap was a 2.830 by Gabriel. And Jason and Tim tied with a 3.090. All right, first heat of 2, dirt sprint car. Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden. And this class here is definitely one where the cars flip. I will not be surprised if we see several cars off in the center of the track here, so we definitely need the track marshals on this one. Hey, Jason, Nikki and Michael Hazlett said, stop being so difficult. Just to get around. Gabriel Kirtley says that he needs to put a dead battery in his sprint car just to get around the track. That last race, man, I'm surprised anybody made it out alive. As hard as those hits was, especially highlight hit of that race was between Tim and Jason when Tim was wrecked underneath the start-finish line and Jason hit him straight. Oh, was it? Yeah, there was a lot of wide open hits, wasn't there, Chris? Well, I know Tim picked his car up and he had a shock hanging out, so there was some definitely hard hits there in that class. Tim now currently trying to fix that car to get it ready for the mains coming up next. As long as we have 4 track marshals, which I believe we do. Jamie says he feels like he should stand with his hands over himself. All right, racers, listen for the tone. And we're racing. Out to a slow lead here. We're going to see Garrett flip his car. Everybody's just going easy, just trying to save their car for the feature, it looks like. Garrett Burden and Gabriel both involved in the incident here. These cars are definitely tough. And I'll say this, I know these guys are choosing the slow route here, but these cars really don't come into their own until you get them up to speed for that aero to start working. Before then, they are kind of a top-heavy pushing car, to say the very least. So we see these guys actually waiting on each other just to keep the race rolling. This is definitely the most difficult class we have. Short wheelbase, 410 sprint, basically. Rough, to say the least. Only 8 laps in, but these guys are definitely having a hard time. Gabriel Kirtley now out in the lead by 3 laps, but Garrett Bird can still bring it back as we see a car flipping there in the backstretch. I can't tell the two apart because they're both black cars with silver roofs. So we see a car fly out of the high outside there. He was able to fix it, and I believe that's Garrett Burden's car there. Now coming to the start-finish line now. And Gabriel Kirtley right there behind him. But Garrett Burden using a different type of option for his car here. Looks like he's got slicks or soft tires and hard tires on this car. see another crash here. Next heat, I believe, is going to have 3 in it, so it's going to be a even rougher race come next heat. 2 laps before we're halfway through. Gabriel Kirtley now at 19 laps, 13 laps for Garrett Burden. Like I said, Garrett Burden's got a lot of catching up to do, but we'll see what happens. As we see Chris Henderson grabbing a car there, getting them straightened out. They both go across the start-finish line there. 19 laps left to go, halfway through this race. The grip on the track still quite grippy as we see a turn back and forth there before the start-finish line, causing a flip to take place. Two cars there trying to give each other room. They can't stay off each other. They're magnets, to say the least. Everybody's saying they need to cut the laps on these. More laps, they'll get better at it for sure. We've seen how they was at the very beginning racing, and they're just now starting to get halfway decent on these cars. As it's just a very, very challenging class. But I've seen them grow tremendously in this class running these. I remember a time they couldn't make it literally one lap without wrecking, so they're a whole lot better than they used to be. You did. Well, I mean, you did take a hit. I seen it. It was horrible. So Tim Hall just let me know that his whole frame on his car is broken from that brutal hit at the start finish line. 6 laps left to go. Now 5. And Gabriel Kirtley out in the lead by 5 laps now. Looks like Garrett was able to catch a couple of those laps back. Gabriel Kirtley getting his car straightened up there. Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden. All right, Heat 2 of 2, dirt sprint car. Jason Howard, Blake Panel, Tim Hall. And this will be the final of our heat races here. We need one more track marshal. Garrett? No, I false started you. Oh, I will deduct your lap if it does do anything fishy. All right, racers, watch your lights. It didn't. Blake Panel spinning out there, getting his car put back on, and before he makes it to the next corner, flipping again. Jason Howard, 3 laps. Tim Hall, 3 laps. A very tough race, to say the least. We see Jason Howard flipping there in turn 2. Gabriel Kirtley grabbed him like a softball pitch. See Garrett Burden helping out fellow teammate Blake Panel. Tim Hall now wrecking. See Brandon there helping him out, getting him flipped over. Tim Hall off. Looks like everybody's kind of straightened up now. This heat, or this race here, a lot smoother than the previous one. Like I said, it just takes nothing but a little bit of racing time here. .23 laps left to go. These guys are running smooth as we see Jason Howard coming up on Tim Hall. Tim Hall and Jason running very, very smooth, and then Blake also running down that low section there. Everybody running, giving each other a little bit of room. Tim Hall flipping there in the backstretch as we see Jamie Fulcher go to grab a car. Now he's back to go grab another car. So far, really good racing by these guys. As we see Blake Panel flipping yet again there in turn 3-4. Tim Hall flipping there on the backstretch. Blake Panel. Tim hitting Blake Panel. Tim now sideways. Jamie Fulcher putting in work as a track marshal. I think Jamie wants to be the #1 track marshal here. Jason Howard there in the lead, 31-25. Oh, Jason tried to make a move to dodge that. Ended up getting involved in some action there. He's going to turn his car around. Jason Howard, 33 laps. Tim Hall, 28. 25, Blake Panel. Tim Hall giving Blake just a little bit of a rub. That was a clean bump. Carver said that was a clean bump there, and that was a decently clean bump. That is racing, folks. You love to see it. All right, Blake Panel pulled his car. Tim Hall taking that second position. Jason Howard, Tim Hall, Blake Panel. All right, we're going to finish that up. Now from the heat race, this is the important one. We create a round for the main. And this is... All right, guys, this is the one we need to be looking at. Main seating. This one. Import file. Completed event final results. From last week. So I just need to leave it on results then. Who won the third dirt late model race? Who won the third? Rookie late model. Okay, Tim. Active series. Well, that'll go by y'all's previous races. I think it's results. Hey, it's set up right here. Cause Jeff and Jamie will be in the C main. Brandon, Garrett, and Blake will be in the B. Tim, Chris, Gabriel, and Jason will be in the A, and it'll add one. It's not showing up. That's the issue. Okay. Gabe, generate it. If it don't work, we can always come back and redo it. Yeah, I think so. Is that right? All right. Who won the heat races in the modified? Gabriel and who else? That's right. Looks good. All right. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Let me make sure my mic's on here. Four. All right, James Deckard. Was that another one for Jason? I believe it was. All right, C Main. Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon, Brandon Lee for the Dirt Late Model Beginner class. See Blake there in the little screen working on his car. That's where everybody's cars are so that they can work on them and everybody can see what they're doing. So one of these racers out of Jamie, Jeff, and Brandon will get bumped to the B main, and then out of the B main, we will see a bump into the A main. There is no second place here, only first place. And this is going to be a very close race here in the C main. 45 total laps. Jamie over here putting himself down. Right now, we see Brandon Lee's car already out on the track there in third position. Here we go. Gabriel encouraging Jamie to get to the B main. Jamie Fulcher 1, Jeff McMahon 2, Brandon Lee 3. I believe we got enough track marshals here. So as soon as Jeff gets around there with his, we should be ready to roll. And this will be a 45 lapper. So 5 more laps than we have previously seen in the heat race. And of course, the A main being 50, it's the big daddy. All right, we got track marshals. We good to go? Racers, listen for the tone. Only calling a red flag if these cars wreck into the center. 2 cars involved in an incident. We see Garrett Burden flipping one back over. Jamie Fulcher currently in the lead. Brandon Lee there in second. Jeff McMahon currently in third position. Jamie Fulcher running some pretty impressive averages. 4.542 on average. Best lap going to Brandon Lee at a 4.160 though. He's about 2/10 down off average. So Jamie Fulcher hanging on to that lead, but right behind him is his main competition here, Brandon Lee. 2 laps down is Jeff McMahon as he goes to try to fight to make his way back. Brandon going to make a pass on Jeff right there down low. Like I said, very close racing between these guys here. Best lap time 4.150, 4.160. These are decently competitive times. So they could technically, if they smooth it out a little bit, they could bring it all the way home. We've seen this done once before with Garrett Burden in the open wheel modified class. All right. So this just in, folks. We're going to end up lowering the laps here for the C and the B mains. at Lanes Raceway because they don't need to be this long, is what everybody's saying. But right now, Jamie Fulcher and Brandon Lee are side by side, neck and neck here. Yeah, sorry, James. I muted it as I was talking to some of the racers, and they want to change some of the lap times here. I'm sorry about that. Every once in a while, I have to have a direct conversation with them. Uh, when I don't have it muted, I hear all of the sound come through my headset, so it's hard for me to hear them. So I'm sorry about that. And this is the only microphone actually live is the one that's on my headset. 1 second, guys. I'm going to have to mute again. All right, so this just in, folks. Next week when we do this, instead of it being 45 lapper, it's going to be a 25 lapper because they're saying that usually in real dirt racing that it's half of what the A main is. As we see a little bit of an incident here, a car spun out on the backstretch. That's going to be Jeff McMahon. We're going to see Tim Hall help him out, get him straightened up there. Jamie Fulcher currently in the lead by a lap. Jamie is all quiet right now as he's really wanting to bring home this C main win. I appreciate that, James. All right, Jamie Fulcher, Brandon Lee, Jeff McMahon. And that is going to be finished. We're going to finish our bumps. That means Jamie's bumping up into the next. They're all wanting C-Main stickers now. All right, jumping into the B main. You guys are battling it out for a B main sticker here. Chris Henderson first, Blake Pannell second, Garrett Burden third, Jamie Fulcher fourth. So these guys are going to be battling it out yet again for 45 laps. But remember, next week it'll be a 25 lapper. The Big Daddy is going to be the A main. But we're still going to keep the heat at 40, which is basically combining both of our heats. So they'll still get plenty of racing done here and plenty of practice for sure. Chris Henderson there taking a look at his car. You can see him facing the track there, his white hat. He's going to get his car put there in the first position with a freshly green, white, and silver wrap he got made. Blake Pannell trying to blow on his car there, give her a little extra speed. Garrett Burden there in the green shirt there, putting his car down in third position. As we're currently waiting on one driver, the guy that come out and won the C main, Jamie Fulcher. Once he gets his tires cleaned here, probably gets him a new battery put in there, we'll be underway. If you're not racing, please help track marshal. We need 2 more track marshals. If you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe to everybody you know. We're trying to run some pretty good races here at Lanes Raceway, and in the future have us some good series, possible some money payout races. Who knows? We'll see what the guys want to do. I know for sure we'll end up doing T-shirts before it's all said and done. Maybe some big checks too, just like the real races. Set them up in the front, get some natural gas pipes ran here inside, and just hit the button and make some flames fly up. I don't know. We might have an issue there with the fire warden. Who knows? Maybe we'll make fake flames pop up. Get a couple of TVs or projectors or something. I don't know. Make a big deal of it. It'd be fun. So Blake and Garrett having a little bit of a laugh. I think they might be trying to wreck each other on this one. They're saying some vulgar stuff here. Jamie Fulcher getting his car placed. Um, I can't. I can't right now. We'll just have to roll through.
Can you go over to events? Go to events. See if it lets you there. See down, yeah, go to rounds.
Yeah, but do we want to do that after letting them run it and these guys not
Go
get
to
to?
main. Let's see. I want to show you where it's at. Yeah, it's a completely different B main.
Yeah, but what about C? Where do we do change
Well,
C's?
see B main and below. See right there. Change that 45 to 25.
All right. So we're making a change now, folks. Okay. Well, as long as everybody's good with it. Everybody good with that? All right. All right. Need one more track marshal. We'll be good to go. Oh, okay. You got it. All right, racers, listen for the tone. All right, 25 laps. We have made that change on the fly. Like I said, all of our racers are trying to make this something, and they want it to be nice and streamlined and everything else. So the quicker we get done with this, the quicker we can jump into another section. Hopefully, we get it in between the 8 o'clock times. Maybe we can run another one. That's the key. We want to try to run this back to back twice, if at all possible. For one, all the races will be $5 come the next series. So if we can do it twice, that'd be awesome. It'd be like 8 total series races in one night. 16 laps so far. Chris Henderson out in the lead, 10 laps. Jamie Fulcher going to pull his car. I think he might have some issues there with the car. We got 3 rolling here. Chris Henderson in the lead, 12 laps. Garrett Burden right there on his tail, 12 laps, with Blake Panel. Chris making some quite impressive moves with his car. As you can see him kind of turning a little bit before the corner to kind of set the back end of his car up, and he's able to make that turn in 1 and 2 really smooth. If you'll watch him here, we kind of went low there that time. Chris Henderson now across the start finish line as he comes in behind Garrett Burden here. As we see Blake Panel, looks like he possibly pulled his car here, or Jason pulled it. Now down to just 2 racers, Chris Henderson and Garrett Burden. Garrett Burden fighting for everything he's got. As he's about 3 car lengths in front of Chris. Chris is going to make that pass. Chris Henderson, Garrett Burden, Blake Panel, Jamie Fulcher. So we're going to see Chris moving on a whole lot quicker there with 25 lappers. We could see we're going to go ahead and finish these bumps and push Chris up. All right, A main for the Dirt Late Model Beginner Class 50 lapper. Jason Howard, first place. Second place, Gabriel Kirtley. Third place, Tim Hall. Fourth place, Chris Henderson. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Get over here, Chris. We got to talk. I forgot. All right. Well, whenever this pops up, Chris, I'll let you know. Something's happening with the stream. It's not letting me jolt over for some reason. Might have to get you after the race. I don't know. It depends on if it's going to let me swap over. I don't know what's going on here with our XSplit software. Could be possibly the updates here. Let's go ahead and see if I can just force these updates while we're live. And that's probably what's holding us up to keep me from swapping into different camera views. I will restart later. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's still not letting me change views. All right, sorry about that. The microphone went out on us there. And like I said, it's not letting me swap between camera views here. But Chris Henderson was able to bring home that B main. And oh, there it goes. Chris, you want to do a quick interview while it's on here? Oh, he's focused. All right, this is what Chris is going to be bringing home, folks, though. A B main winner sticker here. He's been fighting for it for quite some time. Let's see if I can swap us back over to the main camera view here. We'll make sure and get that to Chris. I'm going to lay it up here on the table. You see me throwing it there in the left cam. All right, right now in first position, we got Jason Howard. We're waiting on second position, Gabriel Kirtley. There in third position, Tim Hall in the orange and black car. In the 512 car, Chris Henderson bumped up from the B main. We'll see if Chris can do a back-to-backer here. That'd be interesting. We've seen it once before. Love to see it again. Chris says that they're not going to be doing too well in this race as Jason's got 2 cars on the track. So James Deckard's definitely happy right now with the white car and the orange car, of course, being cars from Jason Howard. Gabriel Carr is going to get his car set up there in second position. All right, guys, if you don't mind, if you're not racing, please help track marshal. We need at least 4. It looks like we need one more track marshal, please. All right, looks like we're about to have all of our track marshals there. Jamie, he's going to get a little bit more comfortable before we start this A main dirt late model beginner class here. Everybody's laughing. Racers, y'all ready? Listen for the tone. Here we go. 50 laps out in the lead. Jason Howard in the white 25, followed by Gabriel Kirtley. Close third position there. Tim Hall in the orange and black. As Chris goes to make a pass there on Tim and makes so there in turn 3. Second position. Gabriel Kirtley still holding it down, but Chris has got a fast ride as he's coming up on Gabriel Kirtley pretty quickly. If he can just keep that car under control now, track getting a little more dry, slick. Gabriel Kirtley holding down that second position. Chris coming up on the backside, giving a little love tap. Now I'm taking over second position. Going down low, Jason makes the block, but not good enough. Jason trying to wreck Chris. Chris is going to bring it in front. Chris has got a fast ride here, folks, coming up from the B main. He might take this A main home if he keeps it up. Coming up behind him is Tim Hall there in the orange and black, and he makes a nice smooth pass there as Tim gives him plenty of room. Tim going to the high outside. Jason get involved with Tim Hall. Jason going to flip both cars. No, he's going to flip his own and leave Tim Hall. Dirty driver here as we see one of the others help Tim Hall out. Now Jason getting paid back in spades there as he gets flipped in turn 3. 36 laps left to go. Gabriel Kirtley currently in the lead as all that turmoil took place. Gabriel was able to avoid. Chris Henderson in second position, though, right there behind him, and he definitely has a car. As Chris Henderson smokes Jason Howard, and we see Blake Panel trying to get Jason flipped as Jason's losing his mind over there. Gabriel Kirtley now in the lead by a full lap, but Chris Henderson is right there on his toes. Chris Henderson now within a half of a track to Gabriel Kirtley. Gabriel Kirtley holding that low to mid side. Definitely a force to be reckoned with here in the Rookie Series late model class. Chris Henderson's going to hold it down. Gabriel Kirtley there in first position. He's coming up on lap traffic. The dangerous Jason Howard here tonight as he's trying to wreck everybody in sight. Tim Hall trying to stay out of everybody's way. Tim Hall taking the high side there, running clean with Gabriel Kirtley. Chris Henderson right there gaining some laps as Gabriel was complacent. Chris is taking the low side. Will he take over the lead? He sends Gabriel to the wall there, or Chris gets sent to the wall. Gabriel coming low, pushing Chris around. Chris is giving it back, though. Chris comes down low on Gabriel, not able to give that push. 18 laps left to go. Gabriel Kirtley out in the lead just by a hair. Chris makes the dive bomb low, but narrowly misses that as he runs into the wall. Chris going low side. He's able to take over in front of Gabriel Kirtley. Gabriel fighting it back low side. A very neck-and-neck battle between Gabriel and Chris Henderson here. Jason Howard all but shot his chances as he tried to be super aggressive early on. We've seen him take this win last week. Or actually, Tim Hall took this win, and Jason was able to take the super late model last week. So he's still got a lot of making up. 3 laps to make up. Tim Hall there, he's got several laps, about 5 or 6 laps to make up. Gabriel and Chris Henderson involved in a wreck together. Chris Henderson now taking over the lead by almost a full lap. Chris Henderson jumping from the B main, possibly taking an A main. We've only seen this one other time at Lanes Raceway, and that was 2 weeks ago with Garrett Burden in the open wheel modified, coming from the B main straight to the A. What's happening to Chris's car is he gets wobbly. Now Gabriel Kirtley picking up that pace, got it within 3 car lengths. Gabriel Kirtley on the inside of Chris. Chris going to the outside. Gabriel making the low pass on the inside. Chris is giving it up. He's going to have to get that focus back under control. 2 laps left to go, and it's a battle. 2 car lengths separating Gabriel from Chris. And that is it, folks. Gabriel Kirtley is going to narrowly get that win as Chris kind of choked there towards the end, but he had it all the way to the very end. Gabriel Kirtley first place, Chris second, Jason Howard third, Tim Hall fourth place. So this is official, folks. Gabriel Kirtley going to bring home that gold A-Main sticker, and he's been wanting it because Jason's been bragging all week long. But what a race between him and Chris Henderson. So, guys, oh, so that spoiler broke on you, and that caused you to lose control there towards the end, Chris? All right, I like it. Uh, so let's see here. Everything looks up and up. I can tell by your lap times y'all ain't cooking too quick, uh, or at least beyond what the gear ratio can do. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, he was about 5 laps down. So So Jason ended up there towards the end. He was about 5 laps down for most of the race. Gabriel and Chris, of course, getting involved in a few incidents there. Jason was able to get it within a lap there towards the end. But Jason, his own worst enemy out there today, as he caused quite a few wrecks there early on. Now, if I know my brother, he definitely doesn't want to talk for the A main, but we'll see if we can swap over here and I'll show you what he's going to be getting. And yet again, our software is not letting us do that. So we're just going to move on in to the next B main. All right, dirt modified B main, Garrett Burden, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon. As Chris rolls over here real quick, grabs both those stickers. He was trying to swap Gabriel from that A main to B main. He loves some pretty good rivalries here, but very impressive what Chris was able to accomplish tonight, coming from the B main and almost taking it there in the A main. Here I am. This is how much of a delay there is in the software right now, getting over to see me. But anyways, guys, Gabriel was able to bring home one of these A main winner stickers. You've seen them before. We still have 3 left to give out and 3 B mains left to give out. So we'll be giving one out here in the next race here. We're going to go ahead and go to scene 8. And it might take a few seconds here as the software is acting really, really slow for some reason. Possible Windows update would be my guess, as I got on earlier today and it was trying to force me to a Windows 11 update. And of course, I denied that. So, of course, Windows probably fighting me back here. But Garrett Burden, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon, Dirt Modified. Jeff, you're up. And this will be for the B main, folks. Yeah, I need to do that, don't I? Sorry about that. So this is the Dirt Modified B main. That's under events, I believe. Jerry Martin, I hope they junk your stuff, Jason Howard. He did race them pretty rough there, didn't he? All right, so we head over here to the main and we can see the B main 25 lap length. Oh, that's for the dirt late model, so we need to go to the modified here and change that to 25. Let's go ahead and do all of them while we're here. We'll change that to 25. And then the sprint car to end it all up tonight, and that will be 25. Now we can head back over to the race, and we're ready to go. Yeah. So, Jason, Jerry Martin says, I hope they junk your stuff, Jason Howard. Jerry, of course, coming here racing some drag races, so they have a little bit of a rivalry taking place when we drag race here at Lanes Raceway. We hope to be getting that live stream back up and rolling. As I'm waiting on a monitor to come in, as the monitor that we use now is cracked and broke, and I need the other monitor for the RC live stream. So right now, until I can get enough money together to get another monitor to set up for the, I guess, third person view of the cars lining up on the drag strip, we're going to be postponing drag racing live streams until then, because I want it to be perfect. I don't like to do anything half tail, but sometimes I do, you know. I think Garrett Burden's having some issues there with his open wheel modified. Maybe just a little bit until they get that figured out. In the meantime, folks, while they're getting that ready, I'm going to go over here real quick and get me something to drink. Did it? Well, I have some pretty hard hits. It was letting me know, Garrett was, that one of his shocks came out. T, can you give me one of those Honeycrisp apples? Well, thank you. How's the boy doing over here? Well, that makes sense. Yeah, he's a good dog. I'm a big fan of the Spelcher Fire Brewed Honey Apple drink. All right. Looks like we have a application token out doing, so we're going to go ahead and get that loaded back up before we start racing. Under our screen connect here, fire up the RC, then back over to the chat. Jeff, are you racing? You're out? So Jeff is going to pull out here. So this B main is going to be between Garrett Burden and Jamie Fulcher. All right, guys, if I get some track marshals, we'll go ahead and start this B main. All right, guys, listen for the tone. 25 laps here in the B main. Somebody's going to bring it home. Gabriel Kirtley there helping track marshal in turn 4. We have Blake Panel here in turn 1 alongside turn 2 there with Tim Hall. Gabriel Kirtley's able to get them straightened up there. Garrett Burden out to an early lead here, 3 laps to Jamie Fulcher's 1 here. Jamie Fulcher just about collected Garrett Burden. Jamie Fulcher's fastest lap time of 4.599 now, 4.320. Averagely speaking, about 5 tenths or so of a second off the time. Now a little bit more, almost 8. Now, Garrett Burden's really got that car under control, and we've seen Garrett Burden do quite well in the open wheel modified. We'll see if he'll be able to do a back-to-back from 2 weeks ago. Last week he couldn't dodge a wreck, but the week before that went from the B main to the A main, was able to collect 2 stickers in one night. Five laps remaining. 4 laps difference between these guys. Garrett Burden's holding it down as we see Jamie Fulcher backing up and turning around there. The daylight and dark difference between the way these guys are racing now versus the way we seen them whenever we first opened the track. These guys have got some pretty good skill under their belt. Garrett Burden, Jamie Fulcher, Jeff McMahon. So we'll go ahead and bump Garrett into the next main and head on into the A main. All right, dirt modified A main. Tim Hall, Blake Panel, Gabriel Kirtley, Garrett Burden. And we'll go ahead and get the sticker for Garrett Burden. Being we're having trouble with the live stream, I'm just going to put the stickers up here on the corner. That way the guys can get them. Usually we have little bitty interviews with the guys, but for some reason or another, it's taken about 3 minutes for it to swap over screens. Uh, 4 more after this. Oh, adjustables. It's you just put them in there like a regular bearing, but they're able to move up and down in the hole more. Hmm. Yeah. So that's all metric. So like a 760, just like if you wanted it to be at like 720 height, then you would just look up like 720 in metric, and it'll tell you what it is. I don't know. All right, Tim Hall there in first, Blake second, Gabriel third, Garrett Burden fourth. Guys, if you don't mind, we'll get some track marshals here. It's a 50 lap A main right here. All right, guys, listen for your tone. And here we go for 50 lappers out front. Tim Hall and a nice boost of speed as we see two people getting involved in the incident there. Blake Panel flipping his own car over there. Tim Hall cutting the guy off there. Who was it? Gabriel Kirtley. And pinned him into the wall. Tim Hall holding it down there. 3 laps. Garrett Burden in second. Gabriel Kirtley in third. So Garrett and Tim here, the yellow and red car, both side by side, neck and neck here. Both these guys battling it out every week in the open wheel modified. Garrett Burden, like I said, a force to be reckoned with. We'll see if he can get that extra bit of gain time here. Tim Hall now running really clean as Garrett gets involved with his racing buddy Blake Panel. Now half a lap down between Tim Hall and Garrett Burden. Coming up on the backside of Garrett Burden is Gabriel Kirtley. Gabriel Kirtley is looking for an opening here to be able to make the pass as he tries to fall in single file line to get a little bit of that draft. He's going low side here. Garrett Burden's going to cut him off and send Gabriel to the wall. Now Gabriel will backstretch behind. He may keep this in mind thought the next time he comes next to Garrett Burden. We'll see. Tim Hall almost a full half track difference between him and Garrett Burden there in second position. Gabriel Kirtley catching yet again to Garrett Burden. Now within 3 or 4 car lengths, gaining most of his time in turn 1 and 2. Tim Hall out there in no man's land as he's coming up on lap traffic to Gabriel and Garrett. 25 laps remaining. Tim Hall just sticking it out there and holding nice laps as we see Gabriel Kirtley trying to get down as low as he possibly can to make that pass on Garrett as he comes up on Garrett again and spins out in the same spot. Him and Tim both getting involved in an incident as we see a push taking place here. Now a change in position. Garrett Burden taking over the lead. Tim Hall there in second position. How quickly a race can change as long as people are giving each other hard races. And that's what we're seeing here. Any incident could involve you. If Garrett Burden's able to hold on to this for 17 laps, we'll see what we seen 2 weeks ago. Garrett Burden now in an incident in turn 2 as he straightens himself up, goes on the inside of Gabriel Kirtley. Jason Howard also getting him spun out there. Gabriel Kirtley to the high side there as he goes on the low side of Garrett Burden. I don't know if they're going to be friends anymore. Gabriel on the low side there, spinning out on the front stretch yet again. We see Chris with a friendly gesture to move along. Tim Hall now back in the lead by 1 lap. Garrett Burden in second place with 38, followed by Gabriel Kirtley on the same lap. Blake Pendle there towards the back, 1 lap down from these guys. Gabriel Kirtley doing a little swap in between, threading the needle there. As we see Tim Hall trying to make some pass changes here with Garrett Burden, trying to put another lap down on Garrett Burden. 6 laps remaining here. And Tim Hall has run pretty much a flawless race here, only in one incident the whole race long. Gabriel Kirtley coming on the backside of Tim, and his back end gets loose yet again. Anytime Gabriel's touched a car tonight, his car has got completely unstable. Garrett Burden there, 1 lap down from Tim Hall. Tim Hall coming around for the white flag. And we're going to see Tim Hall bring it home, followed by Garrett Burden and Gabriel Kirtley. Blake Pendle's going to pick up that 4th position, and that is the end of our A main. So Tim Hall's going to get him an A main sticker here tonight. I'm just going to stick it over there with the other stickers. They can come get them when they need to. I just wish that our live stream was working so that you guys could see them. So we'll move on in, finish that race up. And that is official. Tim, I left your sticker there. We're having trouble with the live stream. I can't even swap over, man. But great race. You held it in there. Nice, tight race. All right, up next, Super Dirt Late Model B Main, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall. So these guys just battled it out in the A main in the open wheel modified. We'll see how close they can do in the Super Dirt Late Model. Say what? Okay. I think they already did that, right? Was that in the Super Late Model? Hang on a second here, folks. So this is Super Dirt Late Model. They're wanting me to swap him with Blake, so let me just do that real quick. All right. So it's going to be Tim Hall, Blake Pendle. So no battle here. Tim will have to battle Garrett Burden if he makes it out of the B main. So right now we're seeing Blake Pendle get his car lined up here for the B main, 25 lapper. And Tim Hall in his Super Dirt Late Model. Super Late Model, Tim. Okay. So Tim is letting me know and all you guys know that if his car doesn't handle good, he's just going to go ahead and pull off and let Blake take it. But hopefully he'll stay in there as this is a battle for B main. One of the B main stickers will be given out tonight for this race. Now, guys, this is a battle for a sticker. So hang it in there if you can. 25. Guys, if we could get some track marshals. This is Super Dirt Late Model. This class and the next class, we definitely need track marshals. These are the most brutal classes. I'll hit a red flag if it goes inside. Let's hope not. Blake said he might see a car split in half. All right, racers. Let's for the tone. And we're racing. Out to a early lead here is Tim Hall. Blake Pendle's car bouncing off every wall I can see. Let's see if he can get that thing back under control. Tim Hall's got his car under control with a broke frame. He was letting us know that if he couldn't get it under control, that he was going to pull it off. But it looks like that car is under control now. Tim Hall in the lead by 1 lap. As we see Blake Pendle flipping upside down. What hands Garrett Burden has to get him flipped right back over. And it's very quick here. Blake Panel 2.990. Tim Hall 2.990. Both these guys turning the exact same fast lap time. Blake Panel now turning a faster lap time of 2.940. Blake Panel one lap down. He's going to have to try to find a lap somewhere if he wants to compete with Tim Hall. Did it not give it? Blake Panel going to get his car straightened up there. Tim Hall, Blake Panel. What's that? It made it. Tim, here's your B main sticker. All right, we're going to move on into the A main here for the Super Dirt late model. Gabriel Kirtley, Jason Howard, Garrett Burton, Tim Hall. So we got this series and we got the Sprint Car series coming up after this. Well, I will say this, Blake. You might have the fastest lap time in the super late model after that. 2.2 something. I can't see on here because I've already skipped through it. Everybody trying to discredit Blake's fast lap there. They're saying they're not trying to discredit. They just know it's not true. I.e., by definition, they're trying to discredit. So right now we see Tim Hall's car out there and Garrett Burton's car. Waiting on Jason and Gabriel's car. All right, guys, if you ain't racing, please help track marshal. And I can smell cheese from over here. That dude is bad. All right, guys, y'all ready? Listen for the tone. And Garrett Burton's car going into a crooked spin there. Tim Hall out in the lead. Garrett Burton second. Jason Howard third. Gabriel Kirtley fourth. So we see a car flipping here yet again. Chris is quick to flip it back over. Tim Hall holding to that low side there, hanging it in. Oh, as Jason Howard's car gets ripped by another one. Couldn't tell you who. It's so quick. As we see another car flipping all the way down to the backstretch. Gabriel Kirtley flipping it back. Tim Hall and Gabriel Kirtley coming into contact. Gabriel and Tim coming into contact yet again. We see two of these guys get them flipped back over. Tim Hall now back in there. Jason, whoa, a car come completely off the track, but it was caught, so we ain't going to cause a red flag. Wow, Jason Howard in the lead, 14-13 for Tim Hall. Car on the backstretch flipped again. Sweet mercy. What a debacle. Jason Howard out in the lead, 19 laps. Tim Hall, 19 laps. We see a car sliding on its lid. Tim Hall go to the high side, gets wrecked, and then Jason wrecks him again. Tim looking for his way to spin out. Oh, and he can't get her to spin. He can't get the back end to come around. Not slick enough on the back stretch. He was able to get it back. Now falling to third position. Garrett Burton in second as Garrett and Gabriel just won't leave each other alone. Jason Howard there in front, 30 total laps. If we get one upside down. Chris taking his time. He does not want to lose an arm here for track marshaling. Oh, red flag. All right, y'all ready? Tim Hall having a stalled car here. Something's going on. There he goes. He's got her now. That cost Tim. He fell pretty hard there. Jason Howard in the lead by 2 laps. Red. Everybody cleaning their tires right now. Look at this mad rush to the pit table. Everybody and their brother done pulled off the track to the pits to clean their tires. Tim Hall's like, I got this. As he pulls a rag out of his pocket, he's just going to clean it on the track. Garrett Burton trying to burn some of the slime off there. We do allow the racers to use mean green here. That's it. Gabriel getting his car brought back over as all of them are on the back stretch here. Everybody's in breakout right now. So the next lap you'll turn it. When you see that red line all the way full, it means the next one you're going to get a lap. Yeah, everybody that's red like this, that means the breakout's full. So when you cross the line, you're going to get it. You're not going to not get your lap when you cross it. I don't know. Where was you whenever I said red flag? I don't know, man. That's up to you. Here we go. Jason Howard there, 40 laps, 38 for Garrett, 37 Gabriel, 35 for Tim. They're all falling in line now as they got their tires clean. It looks like they're running a NASCAR race almost. They're so gripped up. We usually don't see this in a super late model. It's usually not this grippy by the end of the race. Sorry, I hit red flag. Jason, Gabriel behind the line. I twitched, guys. Literally twitched and hit the mouse button. All right, guys. Listen for the tone. Sorry. That was on me, folks. I shouldn't have hit the red flag on that, but I twitched and actually just hit the left mouse button. Tim grabbing his car. He's pulling it up here. He's taking a look at it. Jason, Gabriel, Garrett, Tim. That race there was full of wrecks, folks. A very hard race, to say the least. So we're going to finish that up, and Jason is going to get a main sticker tonight. All right, B main dirt sprint car up next. Garrett Burden, Blake Panel. Did you win? I mean, I can see by y'all's lap times that everything's good.
What was the fast lap? I was trying to see
And
that.
I mean, this is an open class anyway.
What you're looking for is non-1RC cars.
Yeah.
What
Well,
was your share times? Probably 280. Well, I kept saying 230s over on the side. I don't think we hit no 230s.
I mean, everything looks good to me.
You can see every single lap you made on that website.
They're all wanting to know the lap times, and just like Gabe said, you can see all the lap times and everything on live time under Lanes Raceway. B Main, Garrett Burden first. Second, Blake Panel. All right, guys, can we get 2 track marshals down here? This class, we definitely need them. You don't worry about it. You do enough for the slot car guys. You'll be all right. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm afraid of.
I was over there ordering food, and Wendy said, Randy over there racing? No. She said, tell him I need him on the food.
Oh, is he over now?
Yeah.
As I say, where is he? He was over in the corner.
He had to go over there and do inventory.
Oh man, that's so horrible. Inventory is garbage, man. All right, guys, let's for the tone. All right, he got that lap flipping through that circle. This is a 25 lap main here. As we see Tim Hall reaching over there to grab a car and get it seated right. That's Blake Panel and Garrett Burden. Blake Panel spinning out there. We see Chris helping him out. These guys are having a blast down here, though. I wish I could join in with them. But alas, somebody has to hit the red button whenever these cars flip into the center. We all have our place here at Lanes Raceway, and I am thankful to have mine here. I enjoy watching these guys race too, especially when they get those side by sides and give each other a little bit of room, but they're still kind of in contact, but they're kind of running together. I love that. I love seeing it. Blake Panel out in the lead right now, 8 laps. Garrett Burden, 8 laps there in second. A little bit of a spin out there for Blake Panel. We also see Garrett Burden there getting a little incident there. Broken tire. Oh, maybe not. Might have knocked it back in. So Garrett Burden broke tire. It looks like Blake Panel is going to finish this one out unless he gets a broke tire. Oh, I'm going to make you run it. Blake Panel out there on his own. He's going to bring home a B main tonight. He's been wanting a sticker. He's got it through perseverance and keeping his car from damage. Garrett Burden, of course, wrecking out there, losing the front wheel. Going to get a DNF on this one. All right, Blake Panel going to wreck in the turn 4. All right, Blake. Garrett Burden. Blake, you're going to bring home B main. You're going to get bumped up. So let me get his B main sticker here. That's the last B main sticker of the night. And I missed the table completely. I'll get that, Tim. You don't have to worry about that. Thank you. All right, so Blake's going to get bumped up into the A main here. All right, dirt sprint car A main. Jason Howard first. Gabriel second. Tim Hall third. Blake Pennell fourth. Garrett Burton down there found his pin. Garrett, if you use blue Loctite, it'll stay in a little better. You did or didn't? Yeah. Oh, really? All right, so we see Tim Hall there in third position, Blake Pennell fourth, Gabriel getting his car set down, and the white mobile of Jason Howard in the front. All right, guys, listen for the tone. 50 lap A main feature. Jason Howard's car already out of the gate having trouble. He had trouble last week. He couldn't get the car to grip. We'll see if he can get her back under control. Looks like his car is wanting to go to the high outside for some reason. Right now, Gabriel Kirtley in the lead. Jason Howard's car going backwards. Jamie's trying to get to it. He gets to it. Red flag. Tim Hall behind the line. All right, guys, listen for the tone. Oh, y'all cleaning tires? Gabriel got his tires clean from flipping in the center. Once he gets seated back, listen for the tone, guys. Gabriel taking the inside there, getting involved in incident 3 flipping here as we get somebody to come over here. Garrett flipping back. Chris is getting ran to death there on the back stretch, or front stretch. Several cars involved in the incident on the back stretch. Another one involved, Jason Howard. Everybody wrecking right now. Gabriel Kirtley back in the lead. Blake Pennell second. Tim Hall third. Jason Howard fourth. Looks like they're starting to smooth out a little bit here. Gabriel making some impressive laps here. We need to call Gabriel Mr. Smooth behind the wing car, as his car is really looking nice. Where we go? It's like real racing, folks. You break, you gone. Yeah, if the car don't flip in the center, it ain't coming red. Just letting you know. Gabriel Kirtley, of course, falling all the way to the bottom now. He had a broke front end, but, man, his car was shining up until that point. But, hey, that's dirt racing, folks. You guys know that. As long as the car ain't in the center, I'm not calling it. Jamie Fulcher there going to help Blake. Man, you had that baby humming too, Gabe. I was over here saying we need to call him Mr. Smooth. But that's dirt racing. He's been through that in real life, folks. He'd be running real smooth out there in the UMP modified class, and just out of nowhere, the car would just decide to brake on him, just under regular driving conditions a lot of the times. But guys, we can't stop the race and let him fix that, or Garrett for that matter, fix their cars, because that takes the spirit of racing out. Jason Howard now in the lead, 33 laps, 32 for Tim Hall. So they're very, very close together. Blake Panel right there behind them as we see Jason Howard getting in a little bit of a flip, and almost Blake Panel going off into the middle pretty close. So we see Blake and Tim Hall involved in the incident. This gives Jason almost a full lap lead. But then Jason's wrecking now on the inside, collecting Blake Panel. Tim Hall took the lead there for a second, and then Jason ended up getting it back. As we see Jason get hit again by Blake Panel. Oh, and Jason catching a wall there. Tim Hall now in the lead. Tim Hall 42 laps here. If he could just keep his concentration, we'll probably see Tim Hall there in victory lane. Oh, Blake in red. 5 laps left to go. Tim Hall, 45 laps, 44 for Jason, 36 for Blake Panel. Jason's going to clean his tires. Gabriel over here telling me something. He's cracking me up. Gabriel said that Jason was spiraling out of control. Jason did kind of have somewhat of a little grin over that. Jason not having the best of it. I gotta wait till he gets back to where he's at, guys. Are y'all? They're going to run off and leave Jason. Jason, are you ready? All right, guys, watch your lights. Jason having a hard go of it right now as he's gotten in the past 2 or 3 wrecks here. Jason coming back around though. It's going to be close. 3 laps, 1 lap different here. One lap left to go. And Tim Hall's going to get it by half a lap. It was very close there towards the end. Jason Howard second. Third place, Blake Pennell. And Gabriel Kirtley fourth with a break. All right, Tim, the final A main sticker of the night. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Tim's stacking up the stickers. He's looking like Jason did last week with all these stickers. All right, and that is official, folks. I need to make sure all of our mains were official. All right, it looks like I missed one. Let me make that official. A main official. And A main is official. All right, folks. That's pretty much it for this live stream. I thank you guys for tuning in this week. And like I said, Tim Hall's going to bring that away by 1 lap. Jason Howard there in second, 49. Blake Pennell, 40. And Gabriel Kirtley, 18, did not finish as he broke the front end on it. So we're going to go ahead and put this on practice as we only have about 30 minutes or so. There's no way we could run another one here. But at least we're working on it, folks. At least things are starting to work a little bit better here at Lanes Raceway, and we're happy about that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Come back and join us again Tuesday for our 1RC racing here at Lanes Raceway. God bless you guys. Have a